came out here for a walk, on this beautiful, gloomy, depressing day in this wonderful, sunny England. And I was feeling kind of gloomy and sad and reflective today. So death. Let's talk about death. Fuck it. Let's talk about it. So I haven't prepared anything. I haven't really sat down and thought about it. But it's just, just something that you have to think about in life. And I had moments where I sat down and I had an actual honest conversation with myself about mortality and how fragile and unpredictable life really is, and how at any moment, it could be over for you, One day you're here, next day you're not, Either by your circumstances or, in your environment or you, yourself, basically destructing yourself, Or maybe it's time, time kind of wearing you down and you just wither out, so to speak, like a plant. But death is I think it's one of those things in life that's very factual, and it's very straight to the point. It's very objective. There's not much like it's kind of one of those things that is guaranteed in life, that one day you will die and it'll be all over for you, and I think it's important to think about life and how fragile and how vulnerable we really are as human beings, that like you think you're invincible and indestructible, but at any given moment, like, it could be all over for you, and but a lot of people, they don't like to think too much about death. They're kind of afraid. They're afraid of what might happen when we die, or what might happen when they get to that point and they know that soon it's over, and they have to come in terms with their life and what they've done in the time that they've been here, but I don't know. I guess it depends on your philosophy on life, but I look at death as something not necessarily to look forward to, but to know that it's there. You can't hide from it, and you have to face it, and you have to come in terms with it, that time is short. And as much as I used to think that time was dragging at certain points in my life where there wasn't much going on, and the days would be so long and there was nothing to do, and I remember as a child just like sitting in the sun and just like being bored and and kind of just having to like figure out how to like fill out the days, and as you get older, you get a job and you work and you come home, and just days go by, days and weeks and sometimes months, years go by so quick that you don't even notice, and you don't even notice that 1 second, like I still remember like when I was like 18, 19, and here I am, 10 years later in my life, and I'm in a different place, different person, been through so much, in these last 10 years, seeing like kind of ups and downs of life, and times that were like wonderful and magical, and like times when like I can't believe that this is my life. Like I'm so glad that I'm alive and I'm here and I can experience these things. I'm so glad that I'm still here. And there's been low points of my life where I can't believe this is my life and why I didn't check out sooner, But that's life, ups and downs, and life isn't just about being happy and content. There needs to be ups and downs, and you can't expect to be happy all the time. And if happiness is something that you're chasing in your life or something that you're striving for, you need to be willing to accept the kind of price of it, what follows happiness, or what is the cost to get to that happiness. Sometimes a lot of hard work, sometimes if it's like cheap thrill or like a cheap pleasure or like a short but exciting happiness, it's gonna have its price. You might lose it just as quick as you get it. So something to think about. Kind of everything has its cost and everything has its price in this life. Nothing lasts forever, and things change and people change, and some people don't change, and you grow and you adapt and you try your best, and that's what surviving is. That's what living is, to survive. And life in a lot of ways is to suffer and to find the meaning in the suffering. And pain is unavoidable. It is something that you will have to face and you'll have to experience a lot in your life. You can't hide, you can't run from it. And the pain is just natural part of life. Pain, sadness, suffering, happiness, loneliness, being content, feeling happy, feeling lucky, feeling overwhelmed with good memories and bad memories, and facing rejection and acceptance. It's all part of life. You don't really get to choose these things. You can chase after certain things that are going to lead you down a certain path, but these things can come out of nowhere, unexpected, and to be able to be ready and prepared, for anything that life throws your way. And there's going to be challenging times in your life where life is going to push you to your limits and kind of challenge your faith and test your faith in yourself and in the world and in the good. And I feel like a lot of my life I spent kind of trying to go above and beyond for other people, and to try my best to be a good person, and to strive to be a good and kind and warm and friendly and supportive, and kind of bring good qualities into this world, and I took a lot of pride in that. And maybe that came from a place where I've had a lot of challenges in my life. I've had a lot of misfortunes, and I've suffered a lot in my life, and maybe that was a way for me to, give back to the world. And it kind of goes back again to that kind of idea or sentiment where in life you will get hurt, you will get punished. Sometimes by accident, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, but you will get hurt. You will get hurt by other people, by things, by your environment. And in these times, when you are in this pain, you are in this struggle, you'll be faced with a conscious decision to think, okay, I've been hurt, I'm in pain, what do I do now? I feel out of control, I feel weak, I feel vulnerable, I feel wounded, I feel scarred. What do I do now? How do I get back on my feet? How do I regain my balance in the world? And I feel like there's two kind of straight paths that you can go down, where it's like, well, how do I get back this energy? How do I get back this this power? How do I get back this control in my life? And you kind of get to choose whether you kind of, what you do with this negative energy that you've been kind of forced, that's kind of been forced on you, and you get to choose whether you use this experience to lash out on other people and hurt other people and regain that power, to get to a point where you get some power in your life and you can kind of use it to overpower other people and regain kind of your power from that you get to control and overpower other people and make them feel the same thing that you feel, you know, to make sure that everyone else knows what it's like to feel this pain that you're feeling. Or you can take the other path, where it's I guess more honorable, more I guess more courageous, more come from a point of more of like a scapegoat, I guess, in a sense, where you take all this pain and suffering and you try to learn your lessons and you learn from it, and you know what it's like to feel this horrible pain and this suffering. So you kind of make your goal in life to make sure that no one else feels this pain and suffering, to make sure that you don't punish anyone else that's, you know, innocent, and that you don't abuse your power in a bad way, basically what I'm saying. And there's always this choice, you know, you're always faced with these choices in your life. And it's up to you what path you take in your life. And yeah. Now, at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in a mirror, and you have to be happy, you have to be content with yourself. You have to get to know who you really are, you know. It's important to I guess develop a good relationship with yourself. I feel like that's the most important relationship that you will have in your life, is with yourself, and to get to know yourself, to figure out yourself, to figure out what you're all about, and what are your values, and what are you fighting for in this life. And it can come from different places. It could come from a place of you kind of strictly just striving for pleasure and happiness, and you're avoiding pain, and you're ready to get to happiness by any means necessary, you know, even if it costs you to hurt someone or punish someone or step over someone, step on their hands, on their head, to get to where you need to be. And that's understandable, you know. It's selfish and self-centered, but I understand that kind of philosophy on life. But then you can take it from, I guess, more healthier point of view, and you know, try to lift other people up, try to help other people, and try to put some good in this world, and help each other up, and, you know, empower other people, you know, kind of pass these good virtues these healthy virtues down to someone else, and hopefully make this world a better place to live in. And yeah, I think both decisions are just as valid. And it's up to you what path you take. And yeah. And it all comes back to death, the kind of end of your line, end of your life. And at the end of your life, you have to look back, and it's up to you, what you want to look back and be happy about, what you want to be proud of, either by all the experiences that you had, the good or bad, or all the pleasure that you had in your life, or all the times that you were strong, all the times that you helped other people, that you lift up other people, that you made other people's lives better in a way, where you brought some happiness and joy in their life, and that's gonna make you feel like a better human being. But it's up to you where you want to take. And yeah. And another thing I'm realizing, that it's important to take chances in life, and not to underestimate yourself, and to go for things, to give things a good try and attempt. You're not gonna succeed at everything in your life. You're not gonna be great at everything, but it's important to try and kind of push yourself to get out there and try your best, and get back up, and strive for something, and if your goal in life is to be a good person and kind person, that you keep trying, and yeah, I've realized a lot in the recent couple of years that I'm not, I guess, as a good or as a virtuous person as I thought I was initially, and that was kind of a big punch to the stomach, and kind of made me reflect and look back on things and realize that I'm not perfect, I'm not angel, I'm not saint. I have hurt people, I have made other people feel pain, and I have punished other people, and kind of I've been selfish. I made decisions that would benefit me but hurt other people, you know what I mean? And you have to come in terms with that. You have to understand that these things are just natural part of life, and you will, even with your best intentions in your life, you will still end up hurting other people, by accident. Even if you don't mean it, you will end up hurting sometimes innocent people, and it sucks, it's horrible. But the fact that you can look back and you can learn, and you feel that, you want to apologize to people, you feel sorry that you hurt other people, it speaks volumes about you as a person, and you, about your character, that you're trying to learn, and you're trying to better yourself, and learn from these things, and try your best to take these lessons and kind of carry them forward in your life, and try not to make these mistakes again, but to think that you will never hurt anyone, or you will only bring joy and happiness to everyone in your life. I think that's very unrealistic, and I had to come to terms with that I'm not angel, I'm not saint. I have hurt people, and I will probably most likely hurt more people in the future, as much as I'm trying to be the best, kindest, and friendly and most loving human being. I will even by accident hurt other people, and It's definitely not something that you want to be proud of, but these things will happen, and it's important for you to forgive yourself and forgive other people, and not carry around this guilt with yourself, and you obviously want to take responsibility for your actions and yourself and take accountability in your life, and learn and try to be better and learn from your mistakes. But it's impossible to avoid letting people down, hurting people, not meeting people's expectations, not being enough, them not being enough for you, and it's part of life. These things happen, and you have to be selfish in this life. You have to think about your own well-being and your happiness, and it's up to you how long you want to be in these positions where you're miserable and you're suffering, but you're making other people happy, but you're not making yourself happy in the process. And it's up to you how long you suffer. But you're not here on this world just to make other people happy, to save other people, to fix other people. It's everyone's own responsibility in life to work on themselves, to fix themselves. And I understand more and more that friends and family and relationships, intimacy with other people, these people, they're not meant to complete you. They're not meant to fill the empty gaps, to fill the void inside you. They're supposed to add to your life. They're supposed to add to what's already there. You're not going to complete each other. It's impossible. As romantic as it sounds, in a way, it's not a very healthy way to look at it. You can never expect another person to be everything that you want them to be, and to fill every void and every insecurity inside you. You need to work on those things. You need to feel good about yourself. And both people need to make conscious effort to work on themselves and try, to be a better version of themselves. And then you can work on each other and work on yourselves and grow together, willing to adapt and grow. And not be stuck in your way, and, and to realize that you don't want to be a burden on anyone's life, and you don't want to bring any problems in your life or difficulty. But at the end of the day, it's impossible to avoid problems. It's impossible to avoid difficulty or struggle completely. So you need to make a conscious kind of choice to figure out what you want to struggle for, what you want to fight for, what's going to bring joy or happiness, what's going to bring those fruits of success in time, and so it's important to make mistakes and fuck up and be brave and get yourself out there and try things and experience. And sometimes it's not going to be the nicest lessons that you're going to have to learn. Sometimes these lessons are going to be painful. They're going to be shit, but it's important to get back up and learn from these things and try again. Make that effort to get back up and try again, and to okay, this thing hurt me, this thing took this and this from me, but I can build these things back up. I can try to build myself back up and go out there again and learn from this thing, learn from this experience, take away the best parts, the good parts, and carry them with me, and let go of the bad parts, let go of the past, it's already gone. I can't control it. I can't sit here and ruminate and think what shoulda, coulda, and what ifs. It's gone. It's not coming back. But it's important to be in the present. now you have the chance, to make a difference in your life, and try things, and you know not let fear hold you back in life, not let your past hold you back in life, and go for things, challenge yourself, fuck it, and I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of being afraid of a lot of things, being afraid to fail, being afraid to fuck up, being afraid to make a fool of myself, being afraid to not succeed, to not be enough. But, looking back, like, it held me back a lot in my life, and I should have probably tried and, get past those fears, like climb over those fears, and try these things, and be willing to get hurt sometimes, because that's part of life. You need to get hurt, you need to feel pain to learn. It's part of life, and some of your best lessons in life will come from these bad experiences, from these painful experiences. And you just learn a lot, and you mature a lot through pain. If you want to, you can always take different things, from experiences, but it's good to, to have to take away like a good lesson from every experience, and kind of see what this experience is telling me about myself, where I need to grow, where I need to change, what I'm doing wrong, why I keep going in circles and keep making these same mistakes. Maybe I should try something different, keep an open mind, be willing to adjust and adapt, not be so like tied down and have my mind set, Nothing stays on the same spot in this world, Everything changes and molds and flows and adapts, and you need to adapt with it. You need to go along with the wave, You need to be like water, my friend. You put the water in a cup, it becomes the cup, And I think that's like one of the better kind of philosophies about life, to just be moldable and be willing to grow and change and be flexible, and not have your mind set to know that maybe you might think differently in like a month, 2 months, wait things out, be patient, put in the work, but be patient with yourself, just sometimes there's nothing you can do but just wait, just wait things out. And in time, like, you get a clear mind, and your vision isn't like fogged up by your overwhelming emotions or whatever, So take time with things, and be brave and foolish, and get out there and fail and fuck up and learn, and just try as many different things as you can, and meet different people and learn, and so you can, at the end of the day, you can have this like this sense of, I lived, I got out there, I tried, at least I fucking tried. I can say that, even if I didn't succeed at everything, at least I tried, I pushed myself, So it's important to go out there and try things and do things and like learn things, and just learn anything you can learn, and pick up any hobbies that you always wanted to pick up, and attempt, different things. Fuck it, you only got one life, and tomorrow isn't promised, so live, don't let your past hold you back or predict the rest of your life, It's up to you, how you want to go about your future, take chances, Fuck, man, just try. Go out there, be brave, and be willing sometimes to get hurt, and be, shamed, and be laughed at, and to be picked on, because that's a natural part of life. You need to be brave, you need to put yourself out there, you need to be willing to trust and be vulnerable and real. And I feel like other people that share the same sentiment they will acknowledge that, and they will see, and they will appreciate that you're brave. And that will give them a chance to recognize these things and see that you possess these things, and you can connect on those things. You can connect with people, so you don't have to feel like you're alone that's going through all these things. And yeah, so yeah. I think that's about it. You know, I never thought that I would get at this point in my life. I never thought that I would live this long. Like I had this weird feeling ever since I was a teenager that I'm not gonna live very long. That I'm not gonna live till old age. And it might come true. Who knows? But I just try to take it one day at a time, and be grateful for things. And I still have bad days, and days when I feel down and I feel horrible and I just want to end it all. But days when I have a clear mind and I can think rationally and put my emotions on the side, and just have a clear sense. I have this appreciation for everything in my life, and I'm grateful for everything, and I'm happy that I'm still here and I'm still alive, and I'm thankful and grateful for everything, the good, the bad. And if it all would end today or tomorrow, I'm grateful for everything. My life is beautiful. Even if it's tragic in a way, it's still beautiful for everything that I've been through, and the fact that I'm still here, even everything that I've been through, and I'm still trying, and I'm pushing forward, I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm not afraid to die, if it comes tomorrow, or after a week, or 10 years, 20, 30 years, 50 years, doesn't matter. I just try to appreciate every day and kind of live in the moment and appreciate these little things in life. Appreciate the good and the bad, and take it on the chin, and try to forgive myself and others for hurting me and me hurting myself, and just move on with my life. Just forgive and forget. There's still a lot to achieve, there's still a lot to strive for and fight for. It's never too late. While you're still alive, there's still time. There's still time to change. There's still time to grow. There's still time to go for things, So go and do those things, Death gives life this urgency that you need to live. You need to go out there. You need to do things, It's important that you do it, And keep, trying your best to be the best person you can, even if you stumble, even if you make bad decisions, even if you say some things that you shouldn't have, and you end up hurting people, and you sometimes end up doing horrible things to other people, conscious or unconsciously, or you become overwhelmed or emotional, You should be glad that when you snap out of it, you're able to think about things rationally and think, oh yeah, that wasn't good that I did that, or that I said that wasn't nice. I don't want to be that type of person, And yeah, that's life, brother. That's life. So that's it, man. That's all I got, I'm happy that I'm still here. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I'm still here, I'm thankful for each day, even the bad ones, even the shitty ones. And I'm glad that I have these like rational moments in my life where I'm able to think clear. And I'm grateful. I'm thankful for everything. So when I'm gone, when I'm not here anymore, you know, I hope people know that my life has been beautiful, like I got more out of life, more than I ever expected, more than I ever thought. I got so much out of life, and I still keep getting things out of life, and life keeps surprising me, in good ways and bad ways, and I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. And I'm happy and I'm glad that I'm still here. It's quite beautiful out here, it got a bit dark now. This is the kind of place I like to come out and think and think about life and retrospect about things and figure things out, and it gives me peace, it calms me down. Live, motherfucker. Live. Do a dance. Do a stupid dance, man. Do something, man. Rap. You know what I mean? Do something, bro. Make a fool of yourself. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Life isn't that serious, Even though I'm talking about all this deep and this, like, sentimental stuff, life isn't that serious, so... Again, I guess some of that like nihilistic philosophy on life, but like nothing matters, like really. So you make it matter, like life really isn't that deep or that meaningful if you like scope out and look at the big scope of things and life and everything. Like it isn't as dramatic or romantic as it seems to you. You're just a conscious human being. You're just conscious being, this hairless animal. So take it on the chin, and be happy about the good stuff and the bad stuff and everything. And don't take it too seriously. Just fuck it. Just go for things and try things and just live. Don't let anyone hold you back in life, and most importantly, don't hold yourself back in life. That was a big mistake for myself, holding myself back in life. And just when I try more things, when I go out, when I do things, when I like push myself, like I get back so much out of life, and it makes me feel good and good about myself, and that's where kind of the confidence or the control comes in life, of like overcoming these little things, overcoming yourself, your fears, and yeah, man. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a great life. Wish the best for you. I hope everything works out. And I'm thankful. I'm grateful for everything. Each day. I'm grateful for my life. My life is beautiful. And I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm still here. And I'm happy that I have the chance to experience this world and everything and what it means to be a human, and just learning about everything, learning, feeling all the emotions, learning about myself, discovering myself, It's exciting. Life is exciting when you try things and you're not afraid and you attempt things and you do things and you push yourself. It's in these times of struggle that you can really grow, and you find out what you're made of, and you figure out that you're capable of so much more than you think, that you haven't figured it all out, you have yet to figure it all out, even when it comes to yourself, Yeah. That's it, brother. Take care. Take care of yourself, your family, your close ones, Love you. Peace out.